What's it like covering Disney for a living? We talked to Quincy from AllEars for all the behind-the-scenes details.
When we hit on something like those that you mentioned, we're like, that's a winner. That's what we got to do. We've got to cook that up.
What's like your number one tip for maximizing lightning lanes?
I just learned a crazy one.
Has there ever been a concept or a video that maybe you even started filming and you're like, this just doesn't work, and just kind of completely scrapped it?
It's just like we ended up just kind of icing it, and then it just stayed iced forever. Well, my immediate first reaction to the Dracula animatronic was that I wanted to kiss him on the mouth.
Welcome to the Enchanted Ears podcast,
where we discuss anything and everything Disney.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Joe, and on today's episode, we have a great interview for all of you. We are talking to Quincy from AllEars.net. She was gracious enough to speak with us. Really excited for everybody to hear this. Get into a lot of details of the behind the scenes of what goes into making these videos. And spoiler alert, it is a lot more than you think of hey, we're just going to go to Disney World today and film some stuff. There's a lot of production that goes into this stuff. And it was really interesting to hear about everything that it takes to kind of make ththese videos. And they do 6 videos a week. I mean,
I think
it's
she was
crazy.
saying that they were doing 6 videos a week. So yeah, it was just a lot of really great insight, and you see somebody online and she seems really she seemed really awesome, but it's just she's so smart, and the way that she plan they plan these things out, you can just tell the mind behind it is just so so good, and so I don't know, thoughtful in the way that she's putting that content and creating that content. So it was just very, very enlightening and really awesome and fun to talk to her.
And if you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe to get all of our future episodes. And without further ado, let's get into the interview. We are very excited for our next guest. If you follow any Disney social media, I'm sure you will immediately recognize her. She's the YouTube lead and a writer for AllEars.net. Quincy, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yes. We met at the Halloween party.
We did.
And so, and we kind of said, hey, you want to do a podcast? We're just throwing it out there. We're like, when are we else going to have this opportunity? And you very graciously said yes. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I actually, who I met at the Halloween party was 2 members of the stretching room.
That is
portraits
true.
from Haunted Mansion, and they were really cool, and they did recommend you guys. So I don't know who they were, and
I'm sorry they're not here today. So you're stuck with us. So
it's all right.
I would love to dress like that every day of my life.
Yeah.
But I don't know if my job would allow it. They wouldn't, actually. It's against dress code.
That's a buzzkill.
It is a buzzkill.
We're going to get into Disney, but I noticed on your Instagram profile, it says that you're the Dracula animatronics #1 fan.
I am, yes.
So
Thank you for asking.
We've not been to Epic Universe yet. But what's your elevator pitch? Why is he the best?
Well, my immediate first reaction to the Dracula animatronic was that I wanted to kiss him on the mouth, which I did not intend to say out loud on the internet, and I did, and that apparently I'm not the only one. So, but yeah, Monsters Unchained is one of my favorite rides of all time. Sorry, Monsters Unleashed. I'm thinking about the new Horror Unchanged. Monsters Unleashed is one of my favorite rides of all time. It is so much fun. There are so many Dracula animatronics. He's big. He's not wearing shoes, which has been a hot topic in the community of people who look at the Dracula animatronic. But it's really just something that I think is the I'm doing a horrible elevator pitch. The elevator has stopped and we're all getting off, and I'm
you're good.
No, I'm all in.
We hit all the buttons on Elf.
Oh,
we
yeah.
hit all the buttons, so we're good. We're
That's
good.
Great. Yeah. The thing that I think really makes this ride stand out is that, one, it's the ride system from Forbidden Journey, which I love but makes me violently sick without the violently sick part. So
okay, good to know.
It's great. And then 2, the way that they have melded physical effects and animatronics with screens on this ride is so seamless. The lighting of it, it's all so expert that there are just times where you're just looking at it and it just looks endless, but also super up close to you because there's physical stuff super up close to you. I don't know. I just think it's an incredible ride, and also I would kiss the Dracula animatronic.
See, I feel like this is along the lines of like all of the forums talking about how Robin Hood is hot, Simba is hot, like, and all of those things. I feel a little more like vindicated, although they're animals.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least Dracula's
I'll
a
back you
vampire.
on Robin Hood. My audience knows I'm a Robin Hood is hot kind of person. The fox specifically.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
right.
I'm more of the Simba and Kovu are very hot.
Oh
my gosh.
Kovu's very good.
He's like romantasy here, like MMC. Like
they were really doing something with the '90s lions.
Oh, they really were. And we can't even give all the love to that. Like, think about Nala and her eyes.
Oh my gosh.
In that one scene.
She looks like a supermodel. Yeah.
She does.
Yeah, we sell a shirt that I basically like arm wrestled my merch team to make that says I'm just here to kiss or it says I want to kiss the Dracula animatronic, and it has the Dracula animatronic on it, and it's one of our best sellers despite being a limited release. So I'll tell you, we're out here.
I gotta say, I mean, you really hyped it up. I had like no expectations going, and now I'm very excited to ride this and see this animatronic.
I feel like I need to go in costume too.
Oh, you
somehow.
should.
Yeah.
You could, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not even nervous about hyping it up too much because it's that good. Like I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
Good. Well, we look forward. We're planning to get to Epic before the end of the year, so we'll get on it. So
yeah.
All right. So want to kind of talk about like your journey into like AllEars. So before we started, we were kind of talking about your posters behind you. You mentioned they came from your parents, so like you kind of grew up Disney. So like, did you always have a love of Disney? Like, was covering theme parks something you wanted to do? How'd you kind of get into that?
And are you from Orlando?
I'm not from Orlando, but I have always had a love of Disney. I'm originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. I born and raised, and I moved from there to here. So that's kind of how long I lived there, outside of school. My family, big Disney lovers. We used to go every year-ish. You know, some years we didn't go, and then some years we went like 3 times if my mom had a conference in Orlando and we could like, you know, swing it.
Perfect.
My dad used to do that. You can't do this anymore, but back in my day, when you bought Disney tickets, they didn't expire. So my dad would buy packs, the 10. He would buy 10 for the whole family every time we bought. And then that meant that at any given time, we kind of had Disney admission that if we just kind of decided to go, we could. So that happened a good bit. Took a little break in my like early teens where we stopped going as much. Because, you know, every year we went and my parents were like, this is so expensive and we're just waiting in lines. This is our last year. And then we were back a year later. That's kind of the cycle. Still happens, by the way. My parents still say that every time they come and then they're still back. But so we went every year. Lots of pictures of me growing up at like Garden Grill. When I had no real interest in the theme parks professionally. When I was a teenager, I really wanted to be a princess, but I got too tall, so I had to give up on those dreams. But I didn't really have any interest in living in Florida or doing it as my career, but I followed AllEars on social media, and they posted that they were hiring one day. I was like looking for a job. I was out of college. It was like 2019, so the job market was kind of meh. And so I was freelance writing, and it just wasn't it. My degrees are in marketing and advertising. And so I didn't really know what I was doing. I was looking for a lot of different positions. I saw them pop up as hiring. I applied. I submitted a very heavily pun-filled article reviewing Skipper Canteen. And I got the job, and it was just like a freelance writing job for a while. I just contract wrote full-time, but just contract. And I, like, again, wasn't thinking it was going to be like a permanent thing. I was living in Charlotte. I was writing about Disney World for like a blog. Also, that doesn't really sound like a job. You know what I mean?
Right,
like you get out of college and my friends were like, I'm in insurance and I'm an accountant. And I was like, and I'm writing about cupcakes at Disneyland. So like, you know, for a while I was like, I don't know that this is a career path as much as it is just like a gig right now. But then COVID hit and I didn't really have anything else to do. And I'm a workaholic without a pandemic that erases all other options of things to do in life. and it was work from home, I literally was working so much. I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm writing right now. And I started to really like get to do some more meaty stuff, meaty articles that were actually like more journalistic. And basically my bosses were like, you know, if you want to move to Orlando, you could do YouTube. I started doing some YouTube stuff from home. And so I wasn't really doing anything. It was COVID. So in late 2020, I moved here and thought it was going to be kind of a temporary thing because I was like, it's fine. You know, just something to do while COVID's happening. Yeah. And now obviously I've climbed significantly in the company. I've been here. It will be 6 years next month. I love it so much. And that was me moving here. I kind of stepped into YouTube and that role has just grown over the last year. So I've been in charge of it for 3 years now.
Okay.
Wow.
I was going to say, what was that like covering it from Charlotte? Because like now you can go to the parks, you know, basically
whenever.
any day. Yeah. You're always there. Anything new. I imagine that was difficult covering. Is that kind of what prompted the move to Orlando?
Well, we have really a really large team, and I say really large. It's large for a social media account, and so we actually have reporters in the park every single day, and that's been true since 2019, since I started working there, since before then. And so basically the way that a lot of writing would go was the reporters would go and say their observations, and then the writers would be like, oh, that's interesting, and like write it up. Then there's a lot of stuff that's evergreen that you just kind of know. So like I'd been to Disney a couple months before. I mean, there's just like millions of things that I could say about Disney from that trip alone. So it definitely is more difficult, but I actually have found it was easier for me to stay plugged in with the parks as a writer than it is living in Orlando, because as a writer, I was reading every single thing that anybody who went to the park said ever. And then a lot of times digesting it and writing it and doing research on it and understanding it deeper so that I could give it to our audience. Whereas here, that's not necessarily part of my job, because part of my job is to be the one that finds it, has an interesting observation on it. So I actually, though I feel like I have much stronger opinions, I can give better tips from here because I'm experiencing them and testing them. Writing full-time was actually where I had the most knowledge of what was going on. So like it actually allowed me to be more plugged in not being here, because I'm only one person, and I'm physically, you know, if I'm physically in Epcot, I super know what's going on in Epcot that day, but I'm probably not going to read the reporter's thread when I get home from Animal Kingdom, you know. So
right. Are you in the parks every day?
I used to be there most days. Up until June this year, I was in the parks 4-ish days a week. My monthly step count was about 300,000. Oh my God. If you're wondering. Yeah.
Now I want to know what mine is from ultra running. You might beat me.
Yeah, it was crazy. My step count maximum was like 44K in one day. It was crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, so I was in the parks about 4 days a week for the first like several months of the year, and the 2 years prior to that was like 3 to 4 days a week depending on the time of year. This summer with the heat and also the makeup of our team and travel, I've cut down to doing 2 days a week. So and also there's just been a little bit of a content shift where people are more happy with content at home than they used to be. Used to be like we could make a really wonderful video filmed from home and it would get less views than a mediocre of our videos that was filmed in the park. And now as long as the video is good, it doesn't matter. And if the video is bad, it doesn't matter. If you're in the park, it doesn't save it. So that's helped a bit with me being able to cut down. But yeah, 2 days a week now. I've done 4 before. I've done 5 before. I've done more than 5 before. It's brutal.
Didn't you do 24 hours in the parks one time?
Yeah, I did. I've done 2 attempts of our no sleep challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is you have to write everything before you're allowed to sleep. And that's brutal, understandably.
That would be crazy. Did you feel like a toddler by the end of the night? Because I feel like a toddler on like a regular day in Disney if it's hot.
Definitely. Like it's like you get to a point where it's like, I don't know the last time I went to the bathroom and I think I have to eat a burrito. And it's like that's kind of the extent of the thoughts that you have.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm mad, so I better eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how has that shift been, I guess, like creatively, from being in the parks 4 days a week to now being in 2 days a week? Because I'd have to imagine, to your point, like, you know, you had 300,000 steps in a month. Like, going to the parks 4 or 5 days a week, as fun as Disney is, I have to imagine would get tiring after a while.
Yeah.
And kind of become, it would feel like work, I would think. So, like, has that kind of freed you up, being less in the parks than being in there more often?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like there's pros and cons to it, because the pros of being in the park a lot are, one, the more you are in, the more observations you can make. And that's not always true. Like, sometimes you can go in 5 days and not make any observations. And sometimes the best way to make observations is to not go for a month and go back. But obviously, the more you're in, the more you can catch new stuff and have a response to it, which is really what matters. Everybody and their brother is catching new stuff for Disney now. It's having a helpful response to people that's really important to us, is having a take. So that's a little harder when you're not going in quite as much. But you kind of get different takes from not having as much of an aggressive, I'm here literally every day perspective. So that's kind of a pro and con. And then you kind of hit the nail on the head. The biggest thing for it has been, from an energy perspective, my ability to think wildly different. And I love going to the parks. I go, you know, people ask me sometimes if it loses the magic. It doesn't. The magic changes. Like, I don't need to ride pirates every time I go to Magic Kingdom anymore. But, like, am I still going to cry when I see a little girl see Tinkerbell fly for the first time? Yes. And so, like, there's the magic still stays exactly, you know, the same level. It's just where it comes is a little different. But it's just tiring. Like, it's like that amount of steps in the sun and the heat and the humidity of Orlando, even in the winter, is just like, it's just brutal. I don't even think I knew how, like, much of my mental energy it was using up. And then now that I'm not going in, I'm finding it a lot easier to think. So it's, from a creative perspective, coming up with ideas. I've never had too much trouble with the coming up with ideas and, like, working with my team on coming up with ideas, because they're wonderful to work with. But the challenge has been plussing up a video once I am past the coming up of an idea point, because we also have dropped to 6 videos a week temporarily. We did do 7 videos a week, and I ran and touched every single one. Our team, I'm not in them all, but I concept them all, I review them all. So that, doing 7 videos a week while also being in the park 4 days a week, there wasn't a lot of room for, what can I be doing here to make this video reach a wider audience? What can I be doing here to make the audience feel like they love the AllEars? Of what could be more helpful here in them watching this video? What's something funny I can ask my editor to edit in? What's a silly bit that I can do? There was no room for that, because making the videos was all there was.
You're worried about, like, quantity and not quality as much.
Yeah, it was like,
not to say that not to say that they're not good, but it is hard. Like, you're drawn in so many different directions that you have to kind of make a choice.
Yeah, so that's been the biggest help for me not being in the parks, is just, like, I can, like, sit for an hour 3 times a week and, like, actually think on how to make our videos better for our audience. And, like, that is just, I would have told you I was doing that, and that would have been a lie.
So you probably have some really great, like, footwear recommendations, since you are, like, you need to be, like, I think you need a sponsorship. So, you know, now is time. You said an elevator pitch for Dracula.
Yeah.
Maybe you should make your elevator pitch for, you know, a footwear brand that you find to be very comfortable to get the steps you get.
I've got my number 1 pick. I wear Chacos. They are sandals. They're open toe, and everybody relax about it. It is the right call. My dermatologist is a little mad because my toes are always stubbed and my toenails are always messed up because I wear open toe shoes and I'm klutzy, but they're worth it. They are, they're just like strappy sandals. They were really popular in my college town because they're hiker sandals. And I've worn them since then. They are pretty much the only thing I will willingly wear in the parks for more than 6 hours. That's actually a hard rule. I said that like I was guessing. I have a hard rule that if I'm going to be there for more than 6 hours, the Chacos are going on. And it's because they have crazy arch support. They are, I think, technically orthopedic, and they're waterproof, which means when it gets rained on, It literally is. I have no like. It's like my feet are dry almost immediately, and everything's good. So
Now, how long does a pair last? Like, how often do you have to buy new pairs?
a while. So I had my.
Oh, okay.
I would say okay. So I have. I mean, years and years and years. I had a pair that I probably had for 8 years before it died. And that was going into the beginning of me working here in Orlando at this job. And then I have 2 pairs right now that my parents got me for Christmas 2 or 3 years ago. And both of them are in perfect shape, except for my puppy did just chew through the strap on one of them. But the Chacos store, you can mail in for like a $20 repair. So I'm getting my strap replaced.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
that's
so
amazing.
there are some of those shoes that just last infinite.
That's a great sales pitch, because
It is.
if you're walking that many miles,
It is.
I would have imagined like, oh, every like 2 months I have to buy a new pair.
Yeah.
But if they've lasted you that long.
I have a pair of tennis shoes that literally are just like falling apart on my feet because I wore them at work, for a year. So
Yeah.
no, they're great. That's my
That's awesome.
Sponsor.
I would say, I feel like the sole on those are like pretty
Oh, they're
thick.
big?
They're a
Okay.
couple.
Yeah,
they're a couple
thick sole,
inches.
thick strap. I love them.
All right, there we go. Let's work on that sponsorship.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
Put it out
For
there.
you guys and for me. Come on, Chacos.
So I kind of want to go back to, you're talking about like coming up with ideas, and you've done a lot of kind of interesting videos that are not just kind of like your normal theme park stuff. So like you guys have done like hide and seek,
Yeah.
you've done Amazing Race, like last to leave videos. So what is kind of like that process of coming up with the idea to, actually like getting the video produced and actually kind of publishing it?
And what is the best, your favorite, and the worst one that you've done?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'll answer them separately. Process-wise, so idea generation for our team, we have a really incredible team of like idea generators. And what's funny is they're not all from YouTube. Like some of them are writers and some of them are like managers. It's like, so, anybody can have an idea and I will take it and see if I can do something with it. So like that's widely known. We've got a Slack channel that's literally just like video concept ideas, and people can just toss stuff in there and I farm it and I see like what has potential, what do I want to do right now, what do I have a cast for right now. But most of those really creative ideas come from specific brainstorming meetings where we call them high concept, where we sit down and we're like, what are the high concept ideas? Which is kind of funny to call them that because their concepts are actually pretty simple. Like hide and seek and like the last leave Disney World are both simple on the surface.
Right.
But we do brainstorming in a meeting, and we'll typically, when we hit on something like those that you mentioned, we're like, that's a winner. That's one we got to do. We've got to cook that up. And so once that idea is made, depending on the difficulty of the concept, sometimes me or somebody else on my team will just draft up the game in a shot list, which is literally just a Google Doc that we have as a checklist, so it's easy to reference in the parks. So we'll just draft up the game, we'll work through it. We'll go look at, if it's based on a board game, I'll go look at like the literal instruction book for the board games, and I'll read if there's any alternate rules people use that are funny. And then usually I go through and I'm like, okay, now how can I make this even more YouTube-y, even more reality TV show, even more fun? Like, what are the twists? That's what we always do, is like the second round of the shot list is always like, where can we add twists in here? So you'll notice their games, a lot of times it's Sage, who often does our hosting, will be like, and mid-game twist. And it's like shocking, but we do a mid-game twist every time. So that's an important add. And then that part, and if it is a last to leave, for instance, though it's a simple concept, is a very complicated video. It has a lot, the game is very intricate and in depth, and there's a lot of segments and sections, and the way the scoring works is complicated. So like the first time I developed last to leave, it was rounds and rounds of me writing the shot list, taking it to the creative team, and all of us discussing it. Writing the shot list again, taking it to the creative team, all of us discussing it. And that one took forever the first time. But after we get the shot list done, that means it's like good to go to the park basically. I do all of the scheduling for the cast, so a lot of those videos need a lot of people. And when we have, like, typically it's just like our schedule's done like a month in advance, and then there's just like ample changes in that month. It's like I have a prospective schedule that we're all going to try to do, and then there's a hurricane or something. So we do the schedule. We go to the park, and then filming for those can vary. So hide and seek films in 3 hours, capped at 3 hours, because the game is a 2-hour time locked game. Each round is 20 minutes, and there's 6 rounds. So it can only be shorter than 2 hours. And then we have an hour to do social content, intro, outro, rules, explanation, stuff like that. And also stare into space because it's not 100 degrees. That's an important thing to put into the itinerary. Last to leave, however, takes minimum 4 days, including overnight stays. So that kind of thing, obviously more involved, harder to get the cast all in one place for it at one time. And then filming is usually, it's kind of just like follow the shot list, but there are always problems. There's always a point where we're in the park and I'm like, this feels bad. This feels not good. It feels like it's not running right. It feels like bad content. And then usually I'll pull aside somebody or everybody, depending on who we're with, and then kind of just like we'll talk it out until we come up with a better option or a better solution or a plus up that might fix it. So we're constantly changing the videos in the park as well. It is not common that our shot lists are fully representative of what actually occurs when we're filming. And then one of the best things about my job is that I don't have to edit my videos. They go to editors. So we have a wonderful team of editors. We have 3 of them, and they are spectacular. And basically they get the video package from us and then make magic. Like, it's like I basically go, here's a pile of stuff that I did. And then
Put
they
it together, yeah.
just do whatever you got. And then they put it together, and they do such a great job with it. Sometimes I will literally message my editor and be like, I'm so sorry in advance. I don't know what I did there. Good luck. In fact, the night I met you guys, I was trying a new format for our Not So Scary video because it's underperformed the past few years. So I wanted to try branching out. I was super nervous about it because that is like a legacy content video. It's the same every year. And I really don't want to, I want our audience to love it. Like, I really don't want them to feel like different is bad. So I was really nervous about it. And pretty much right after I saw you guys, I went to the parade, or maybe it was right before. I went to the parade, and I was about to go. The parade is about to start, and I was filming part of my script. And I decided I hated the entire video. I hated the thesis statement. I hated the concept. And I rewrote it while I was watching Boo to You. And my editor was live editing. So I had to message him and be like, wow. Hey, I've changed the whole video. Sorry. And, he was wonderful about it. We have a very good relationship, me and the editor, all of my editors. But they edit, they turn it into magic typically. Sometimes I give them something and I'm like, I really don't think this is good at all. And then it's one of the best videos I've seen by the time they're done with it. And then that goes through 2 to 3 to 5, if it's something really complicated, video watches, where at least 2 people from our team put eyes on it, looking for, like glitch mistakes, like this frame looks bad, also like any spelling mistakes and obviously informational mistakes, but also, am I bored? Did that bit go too long? Am I laughing? Do I understand what's going on here? What is this person talking about? All this stuff we try to put blank faces on as if we're a random person who's clicked into this and react that way. And then once it goes through all the cuts, the editors, thumbnail edits happen, all the stuff happened for YouTube for it to publish. Then typically it schedules to publish. Usually our lead time on those can be from concept to a video going up can be months and months.
Okay.
From filming to a video going up, I try to keep it between 2 weeks and a month. So if you go longer than a month, it can start to get stale. Right. For our regular watchers, they can start to understand oh, that's Quincy from 2 months ago. And I don't know how, and wider audiences don't care too much when the video is filmed, but the core does. And the core is very important. So yeah, anywhere between 2 weeks and a month from filming to publish. And our editors usually don't start editing until about 2 weeks in advance, so that if stuff does change, we don't have an edit because you can fix stuff in an edit. So that's kind of the whole process. And then to answer your question, Angela, my favorite, this is hard because I think my favorite high concept video we've ever done was Capture the Flag. from a viewer perspective, watching that, I truly, it does not get numbers compared to like Last to Leave, and I truly think that video is better than Last to Leave. It is so, the whole video is so engaging. You are locked in the whole time, and that's kind of rare as someone who films it, like to feel locked in when I am watching it back. It's an incredible video, a little brutal to film, a lot of walking. My favorite video to film was probably, this was kind of wild, but we did a murder mystery in Disney World, and we all had like costumes and like outfits and characters, and we were solving the mystery of the great Mo V. Ride, who is a director who had been murdered, and you had to solve who the murderer was. And it was a little bit like, we kind of did like a meta thing where it was a regular AllEars game for most of the video, and then at the end there were 3 different scripted endings a la the Clue movie. It is a wacky video. People
I'll
still
have to check
watch
that one
it.
out.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and check
absolutely.
that
It's a
one out.
weird one. That was my favorite to film, and also my favorite to write, because we literally were writing a murder mystery. Like, it was like, we were like, and then I was like Twyla Zone, the heiress to the hotel, you know, like, it's like, we were like, that was so fun. And then least favorite of the high concepts, I'm usually pretty energized by them just because I feel like they're so interesting, and so it's really fun to do them a lot. Like Last to Leave is brutal, but it's so fun that I don't care. It feels like a little vacation with my friends where we're playing like a scavenger hunt the whole time. Like, it's like, you know, I love games, like I love board games and stuff. So probably truly my actual least favorite video to film is the 24-hour no sleep challenge, or any trying to ride everything at Disney World in one day. I finally did it, so I'm never doing it again. But
I wanted to ask you about
Yeah.
that actually, because that was one of the ones I was thinking of, and just in terms of like the logistics and
would be
planning
insane.
of that. Like, you know, you go through, you had a hotel stay, you had lightning lanes, you coordinated transportation to try to maximize all the amount of time. Went on
Yeah.
a day where you had extended evening magic hours and everything. Like the level that
The
went
problem
into
solving.
it. Yeah, like what was that one like specifically? Like, was that a very long one from kind of concept to filming, or did that happen pretty quickly?
it happens pretty fast. So we've attempted that many times. I
Okay.
think between me and Fry Bucket, my coworker, she and I think made the attempt of either a ride everything in one day, or back when park hopping restrictions were in, she did 2-day a couple of times. We have tried something in that vein probably like 8 or 9 times together.
Okay.
And we have a variety of titles. Like, she tried it where it was no sleep, where if she didn't do it, she had to stay up all night. And then she tried one time where if she didn't do it in 2 days, she would have to go ride every roller coaster in New Jersey, which she did do it. So she didn't have to go ride every roller coaster in New Jersey. But we've done it a bunch of different like flavors. Like the 24 hours obviously is one of staying up. We've done back when there were park hopping restrictions, it was 2 days all the time. It was like 3 days of no sleep for her. Like, and Disney World changes so much that the challenge always changes.
Right.
So the concept we've kind of just had forever, because we've all known it would be really cool to be able to say we did it. And we've been trying forever, because it would be really cool to be able to say we did it. And also, people like watching us try. That video does well every single time. So we kept trying it, and we kept not getting it, because it is, you can have the most perfect strategy in the entire world, which, trust me, we do. And you'll make mistakes day of, but the plan is airtight. And then if a ride goes down, it's over. If there's a thunderstorm and the coasters are closed, it's over. If a park, if you have to make it to, like, one of the times I failed because I made it to Hollywood Studios at like 8:57. The park closed at 9. I had extended evening hours, but Rise isn't open for extended evening hours. So if I would have had 2 more minutes, I probably could have booked it and gotten in the Rise line. But I'm always one ride off every time I've done it before this last time that I succeeded. But yeah, logistically, it is definitely very difficult to plan. I'm very like logistical, analytically minded. So I really like planning these videos. But it's a lot of moving parts. Like you said, everything that you listed, you have to be considerate of all of that. has to happen on an extended evening hours day. And what we found was it probably has to happen on a Magic Kingdom extended evening hours day, because otherwise I failed every time it's been Epcot or Hollywood Studios, which, by the way, Magic Kingdom extended evening hours days are only in the summer. So I had never attempted that on a 95-degree day. And
I would say then you're dealing with the heat and everything.
You're dealing with the heat.
Yeah.
You had to be so dehydrated.
Yeah, I also, that's literally another thing, is I wouldn't, I was drinking less water because you can't stop to go to the bathroom.
Right.
My rule for the challenge is 1 bathroom break. So typically if I have a lightning lane that's starting, and it's long, because it's a regular park day, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now you're standing at the Animal Kingdom gates at 6:30 a.m. And then I rode my last ride on my last attempt at 10:44 p.m. probably. No, later, because it was Magic Kingdom. So I think it had to have been 11 something.
Oh, so you're probably at 11, yeah.
Yeah. So you're going the whole time. And it is the navigating the lightning lane. I'm a real lightning lane pro. I know that thing like the back of my hand. It's part of my job too. But combining lightning lane, multi-pass, single pass, and premier pass across all 4 parks, while also taking into account single rider, is really crazy. But we have a couple of things that we do every time that make it doable. And one is that I have an on-the-ground PA who drives me from park to park, and instead of doing any Disney transportation, except for going to and from Magic Kingdom, which is when I use minivans, because
that puts you right there at the gate.
And I would use a bus, but you can't wait for the bus. So if I was going to walk up while the bus was pulling away, I'd get on it, but that's never happened. So you have to use minivans, which then means while you're running around the park, you have to make sure you're checking the minivan wait times, because those can be 40-minute waits, or they can be 2 minutes. And so, it's like calling any Uber.
That's the frustrating thing about minivans. I feel like last time we were down there,
we were there, that's exactly what it was.
And it's they're 40 minutes away. Okay, we're not going to get one. And then we were at Trader Sam's, and then we need to go back to our hotel. We were staying at Fort Wilderness, and I looked, and one was 2 minutes away. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. That worked out. But most of the time you look, it's an hour.
Yeah, and it's I can't call one if it's 2 minutes away if I'm in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Right. So it's so the minivan thing is really brutal, but it's necessary, because you cannot lose the time to go to the TTC, and you can't lose the time sitting on a bus and waiting for the bus to go. The on-the-ground PA helps with transportation, and then they also handle food. And I have a very, very specific food plan for these days, where, yes, I drink less water than usual, which is not ideal. But also I drink a lot of coffee. That's a lot of liquid. So I do straight espresso shots on ride challenge days. I do 2 espresso shots first thing in the morning. Something high protein, usually the turkey bacon cheddar from Starbucks is usually what they'll get me at Animal Kingdom, along with the shot of espresso. Both of those, or 2 shots of espresso, both of those I drink in the car between Animal Kingdom and my next park. On every attempt but my most recent, lunch happened on the ferry boat, because you can eat on the ferry boat, which meant I could have grilled salmon from Columbia Harbor House on the ferry boat. You get 20 minutes to actually sit and eat if you do that. When I used Magic Kingdom extended evening hours, I didn't get to do that. So my lunch was chicken tenders that I literally was having my PA go between the 2 rides I was going between, and I would grab a chicken tender each time I passed her, and I would grab a cup of honey mustard, and she had many cups of honey mustard, and I was eating those between a single tender between rides. And then usually it's a pickle in the evening, and I can typically make it, sometimes a Powerade. I can typically make it through the end of the night and have dinner late. So that's, the food planning is a logistical nightmare. And then Lightning Lane, navigating it with everything is super hard, but you can do it kind of all in advance, where you plan how you're going to use it. So, Lightning Lane multi-pass, I book for my highest stress non-extended evening hours park. So it's only going to be, and actually Premier Pass goes to Magic Kingdom even when I had extended evening hours, because Magic Kingdom has so many rides.
It has the most rides, right? Yeah.
So it's and Premier Pass works during extended evening hours. I learned this on my last thing. So I got to skip the Tron line, which was still, an hour in extended evening hours.
Wow.
Okay.
And then Hollywood Studios, I did Lightning Lane. In the past, I've done Premiere for Magic, Premiere for Magic, Extended Evening Hours for Hollywood Studios, and Lightning Lane for Epcot. So this past attempt, I didn't have Lightning Lane for Epcot. So I had single pass for Guardians, but everything else I had to do the actual wait. So it did mean I ended up stomaching like a 40-minute wait for Frozen. But like, it was just, there was no way to not do that. Unless I had gone to Hollywood Studios first, but my Lightning Lanes were later in the afternoon. So it was just like, you know, to be able to use multi-pass in 2 parks.
Right.
And then single pass, I always do Flight of Passage and Guardians, because Rise of Resistance often has a single rider line, and the single rider line, if it's not really slammed, is faster than Lightning Lane because you skip the first 2 pre-shows. So it's actually faster to do the single rider. And I get Premier Pass for the 2 Magic Kingdom ones. So then Flight of Passage lets me ride everything in Animal Kingdom well before, like, the park is even really, like, because I don't have to worry about Flight of Passage, I just get through everything else by the time the park even really opens. And then do a single pass for Flight. But yeah, that navigation is hard. And then you're also in the parks trying to get better Lightning Lanes, which is why I also have a PA at home who's connected to me on my Disney experience, whose entire job that day is to look for better Lightning Lanes for me.
Wow.
So that in the past has been Emma on my team. She is very talented at finding a good Lightning Lane, but she and I will both be on refreshing for modified Lightning Lane times the whole day. And I'll tell her what my parameters are, because the strategy changes constantly. And like the attempt before last, I got evac'd off of Pirates, which was a dream evac for me, but of all the days, it had to be that one. And there was the craziest Lightning Lane situation we ever had was I was standing in the Tron queue, and I had a bunch of very good Lightning Lanes, but Emma found something better, and it meant I remember what it was. She had found a Lightning Lane, but she had been modifying my Peter Pan's Flight, and she had found a really good Lightning Lane for Jungle Cruise, which is very hard to get. It's probably the hardest to get after about noon in Magic Kingdom. She had found a better Lightning Lane for Jungle Cruise. I had not been able to get one all day. I had a Peter Pan's Flight one, and she had been on the modify screen for Peter Pan's Flight. So she was looking at the time and was going to be able to get it, but it meant losing Peter Pan's Flight. So we got on the phone, and at exactly the same time that she canceled that Peter Pan's Flight Lightning Lane, I canceled one of my lower priority Lightning Lanes and then rebooked the Peter Pan's Flight. And we did it in like a span of 5 seconds while I was about to board my Tron vehicle. The spike of adrenaline I got, kind of embarrassing for that situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
No,
it's a very big logistical challenge, but we've done it enough, and the planning, you can kind of put it all on the shot list, and it is a very easy shot list where it's just kind of like a checklist of like, did you do this thing? If not, go back and do it. And the bigger issue is once you're in the park, when things start to go wrong, or you make a wrong call because it's 3 p.m. and you're exhausted and you can't remember what rides are in the park you're in. That's when it starts to become really challenging and more of an issue, but the PAs help.
So it sounds like you highly recommend it for everybody else to try.
Don't do this. Never, ever, 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 ever do this. I got off of Haunted Mansion, my final ride on my success run, and my PA Miranda goes, "You just rode every ride in Disney World. What do you want to do now?" And I said, "Never do that again." I think it's funny because it used to be a bigger thing. Like the Parkology Challenge used to be a thing that people did all the time prior to like 2019 and earlier. The parks are very different from 2019 and earlier, and it used to be, I think, something that was a little more fun and a little more attainable, and the Parkology website is still up, and there's people who are claiming to do it, and I don't know that maybe they have. There's one group that said they've been able to do it, but their rules are like no outside help. You can't take rides from park to park.
It's very strict.
It's very strict, and like, if those guys did it, they had a gilded run, I'll tell you, because on my attempts, I'm not sure that it's possible to do without having just like a wild amount of help. It also it's horrible. It feels very bad to do.
I was going to say, it's like,
it would be fun.
I feel like I would be worried. Like, did I ride this ride already?
I mean, you have to be a ball of stress all day because, like you said, one thing goes down. You could be this close to finishing and be perfect, and then you just can't.
And
it doesn't
it's
happen.
every time there is a high optimism until about like noon, 12:30, I would say. And then usually around 1, it starts to get a little shaky. And then usually around 4, it starts to get brutal, intense stress. Like, it's not going to happen. And it's just so rough because it is so hard to do. And and at 4 p.m., if you feel like it's not going to happen, you can't not try to finish it out. But like, that this whole day it's going to be a wash once again. You're going to have to do it again.
It's like running a marathon.
I was just
feel
gonna say,
like
if you ever want to get into ultra running, I'm a coach.
Okay.
I mean, you might be able to coach me actually, because that is its own type of ultra. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like it's so
And you're
that's
so
wild.
right about the mental stress of it, because the
Yeah.
first time I did it, Fry had done it a couple of times before I ever did it. And the first time that I did it, I literally texted her midday and I was like, I was prepared to be physically tired. I was prepared for this to be exhausting, for my legs to be burning. I was prepared to be hot and sweaty. I was not prepared to be stressed like I was being hunted for sport, or like that I was looking at a bear.
Most dangerous game.
It sounds wild, but that was truly like, I was like, there's a point where stuff starts to go wrong or not how you want it. Even not wrong. It can just be like, this line said 20 minutes and it's taking 23. Like, it could be like nothing. And it starts to really mess with you and just get in your head. And when you get stressed, you start making worse decisions. So then you start to do something silly, when like I crossed the entire park when you couldn't the same amount of time, but just waited 10 minutes for Tomorrowland Speedway. Like that kind of stuff starts happening. I was not prepared the first time I did it for the mental stress. It is wild.
Yeah.
It sounds like it. I think it's interesting because most people, they just watch the finished video and they're like, oh, like that looked like it was
easy.
fun. I rode all the rides.
You
It's
made
like,
that look easy.
Yeah, this is everything that like goes into like making all the videos. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. You don't get that.
I feel like you could have like a whole side business as an event planner.
Yeah,
Because
I think I could be a pretty good event planner.
you would be so good.
Just the logistics.
You can plan my next birthday party.
I got you. Yeah.
So I guess after all that, are you pro Lightning Lane then? It seems like you're.
I am pretty pro Lightning Lane, particularly Lightning Lane. Like, if we're talking about the current iteration of Lightning Lane, I'm pretty pro. And I actually think that most people are, and that the sort of like discourse about it is sort of overblown, because I think more often than not, when you actually talk to people about whether or not they're using Lightning Lane on their trip, they are, or they're like the option to, or they're not, but they still don't mind that it's an option, and they did one day and they're not another. And Lightning Lane remains very popular content, not just for us, but for everybody. And it's because people are using it. Like the current iteration of the system is also not as like, you don't need a master's degree to understand, like a master's degree in Disney World, which is what we always said about Genie Plus, because it was so complicated. And there are like advanced tips to Lightning Lane that I would call, this is the collegiate level of using Lightning Lane, but I'm pro. I use it when I go for fun with friends and family. I use it a lot, despite the fact that I literally film videos about how you can do everything in Disney World without Lightning Lane.
Without it?
Yeah, I do that all the time. Like we go to parks and do every ride without Lightning Lane, no problem, with time to stop for lunch. It's very doable with good strategy, even on crowded days. But the like ease and peace of mind and the niceness of just walking on a popular ride with no wait, like, worth it for me to do the spend. I wouldn't do it every day.
Do you think it's worth it in every park? Because I think we feel like Animal Kingdom, like there's not enough in there to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Like Magic Kingdom's definitely one. Or like you mentioned,
Magic
Premier
is
Pass.
all
like,
I was
there's
thinking about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and Hollywood Studios too. If you want to ride a lot of rides in Hollywood Studios, those waits are just so long. But I would never tell anyone to buy it in Epcot. Don't buy it in Epcot. And I would never tell anyone to buy it in Animal Kingdom unless you were going to be park hopping. And with both of those, if you want to buy something, just buy the single pass and then spend the time that you would have spent in line for the single pass riding everything else in the park. Like, you can.
Right.
So yeah, I don't. I think it's just Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom that it's worth it in Disney World. And I don't think I've ever personally bought it for Animal Kingdom or Epcot. It's just, there's just not enough to it.
Yeah, there's not enough to do there.
Yeah.
So what's one of those collegiate level tips? What's like your number one tip for maximizing Lightning Lanes?
So our big one that we get a lot of, some big hoopla on this one, is our Lightning Lane loophole, which is one of our reporters / YouTube cast members, Breedlove, found out that the 15-minute grace period at the end of a lightning lane is actually an hour and 59 minutes. So
okay.
if you have a lightning lane that ends at 4 p.m. and you scan into it at 5:59 p.m., it will turn green. It's not turning blue and then the cast members tap something to let you through. It will turn green until 5:59 p.m. So that actually kind of allows you to stack lightning lanes, which people think is not possible in the current, because it's just that they stop showing up on your app because they have expired, but they're still active. So you kind of have to take your own notes to do it. But you could literally, I mean, I think he got to 9 active lightning lanes at one time using this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, that's advanced. Like I wouldn't tell somebody to do that necessarily, but super advanced. And then one that this is an advanced tip that I encourage everyone who's using Lightning Lane to do, which is when you're trying to modify for better times, you can use the My Disney Genie Day setup to mark priority rides. I think you can mark like 6 at a time. And what that does is it pins it to the top of your tip board, which is helpful for just checking the wait time. But if you are modifying something, this is a very recent update, it will now pin it to the top of the modify screen. So if you are like booking, like if I have a Haunted Mansion lightning lane, and I'm okay to modify it because it's later and there's still a Haunted Mansion available, but I really want Tiana's, I really want Jungle Cruise, and I take an earlier Haunted Mansion, I can pin Tiana's and Jungle Cruise as my priorities for the day. They'll pop up to the top of my modify screen, and then when I'm refreshing, instead of having to scroll all the way through the alphabet to get to those, they're showing up right at the top,
right there.
which allows you to be a lot faster about refreshing, gives you more ability to do it. So, and I just learned a crazy one, actually. This is for date-based tickets only, but if you are buying a date-based ticket, when you purchase your ticket, you select a window of eligibility for your ticket. And most people, myself included, I typically start it with the day that I'm going to be at the park. Your Lightning Lane availability opens 3 days before the opening of your eligibility window.
Okay. So pick an earlier day.
You could literally pick, you should pick basically 10 days prior to the last day you're going to be in the park. And that means that for the length of your ticket's eligibility, you can select Lightning Lanes 3 days prior to that eligibility date, which I did not know was a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are my advanced, my top.
Those are
yeah,
good ones.
I was gonna say, I think that one just like kind of blew my mind.
Yeah,
I would mess
wild.
it up.
It's like you can get like basically a resort stay bonus not having a resort stay with that.
Yeah, I know with the tickets, like I've heard people say, because they're good for a certain number of days, and sometimes like if you pick a day or two before, like the price per day is a little bit cheaper, like you can kind of save a little bit that way. But never thought of hey, pick a few days before, because then your lightning lanes are going to be earlier.
It's wild.
That's
actually,
a good tip.
Our intern caught that, and it's in writing on the lightning lane site. Like it literally says for prior to the first day of eligibility for your ticket. Like is literally what it says. So I was shocked.
So do you guys just like try everything? Like do you try to like break the system and then just see what works? Okay.
Yeah. We literally, when Lightning Lane came out, we had a reporter, every reporter was in the park at the same time with it. And we had a reporter whose job was to try to break it. Like it's like do it as wrong as possible and see what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a lot of fun.
That
just like not do things correctly.
Yeah.
Has there ever been, you talked a lot about like a lot of the concepts you guys have done. Has there ever been a concept or a video that maybe you even started filming and you're like, this just doesn't work, and just kind of completely scrapped it?
We have a lot of concepts that don't make it, all like that I say yes to and then don't make it. So many that I can't even like think of a specific one. We have very few situations where a video starts filming and it goes out the window. It is expensive by the time we've gotten to the park, particularly if there's multiple people there. The one video that was fully filmed and edited that never went live was from years and years ago, and it was a Gatorland video. And it just like I'm open to doing a Gatorland video. Like I actually am really interested in doing some non-Disney Orlando content. We've been getting asks for it lately. And this video was just like, it's difficult with Gatorland because Gatorland has some controversies surrounding it, and navigating those as somebody who's trying to show what this is difficult. And I think that, like, I don't think that we did it wrong, but I also don't know that we did it in a way that I was like, yeah, this is good, let's put it up. Like, it's like, so it was just like, we ended up just kind of icing it, and then it just stayed iced forever. So it's still sitting in our Dropbox. But I mean, literally, I think that video is like 4 or 5 years old at this point. It's old. And then I've had a couple of videos where they go wrong in the day, or like, you know, someone gets sick and then we have to film on another day, but we always have picked those back up. I think that Gatorland's the only one that we fully have hit the park, feet in the park, and decided, no, like, this is not, yeah. And again, I would do it. It's just that particular filming day is never going to see the light of day. Yeah.
And is there any idea that you guys have had that you just haven't been able to figure out how to film? Like, there's one that's like, this is
it's
the
like
one,
your white whale.
Yeah, like you really want to do.
So I have one that I'm really excited about that it just logistically very challenging, which is, can I ride more rides in Disney World than 3 people combined? And that would be
like
me,
in one day.
In one day. Or, you know, time locked. Like, we could even just do like 5 hours. It would be me versus 3, ideally AllEars fans, or, you know, collabs with other creators. I would kind of like it to be people who are not locals and who don't understand the park, which is why it's so logistically challenging. Because I think the point is to show this is the kind of information that you learn when you're here all the time versus if you're just reading up. But that would be really difficult because, one, it's getting people potentially from out of town to come do it. It's finding the right people to do it, and it would be they would need an AllEars cast member with them for the entire day. So I would have to have like 4 or 3, I guess, AllEars PAs along with them doing it. So that one would be really challenging.
Let's say, if you weren't involved, I would be good to do for that. We always joke that I have no idea where anything is because we always are in the parks together, and he's the planner, and I just go along.
Oh my gosh, so you could do it.
She would be lost.
I would be so lost. Like, we were joking, like we were joking about like where Beverly was. Like, the one thing I know where it is Beverly, and he showed me a map, and he was like, "Where's Beverly?" And I picked the wrong side. Like, so
well, maybe you've made it one person easier for me. But yeah, because even if I didn't, I don't know that I can ride more than 3 people, that even if they're not well versed, but even if I didn't, I could still probably put up a good showing. It would still probably be a cool video. So that's been one. And then we have, let's see, Amazing Race took a long time to get off the ground because it was complicated.
That was pretty ambitious. That was an ambitious.
It was ambitious. Yeah. We literally like flew to New Orleans and back in one day for it. And also, like, behind the scenes info is that, like, our host broke his foot. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, Sage actually wasn't filming on location with us because his foot was broken. So he was supposed to be with us the whole time and then go to New Orleans with us, and all of that had to go out because his foot was broken. So all of the host segments are filmed like a couple weeks later, and they literally got input into the video, into the first one, I want to say like maybe 3 or 4 days before it went up. Like, we had we had like bad placeholders in for him. So
how did he break his foot?
It was on another gig. He was jumping. But yeah, that one took a long time to get off the ground. We have a couple on there. It's like, people keep pitching The Godfather in Disney World, which I know, like, sound like you're like, well, how would you do that?
Yeah.
You're telling me. I don't know. But like that, you know, we did The Bachelor in Disney World, and that's actually a very popular video and a very funny video. And we did that. So it's like The Godfather in Disney World.
That feels more straightforward, though.
Yeah.
Like, The Bachelor feels more, it's like, what do you mean by The Godfather?
So, like, I have like an approved concept spreadsheet, and that's been on there for a while because I was like, yeah, sure, I like the title, but like, what am I gonna do? So that one has been sitting. We have like Special Forces World's Toughest Test has been sitting. That's a show that we want to spoof.
Love is Blind is popular.
Love is Blind is sitting on there as well. Yeah. Pretty much any reality TV show is probably sitting on there for me to be like, why don't we? Love Island is on there.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's
You
just
could
like,
do. You could do.
Those are my like
Epcot, like Love Around the World or
love,
something. like that.
love around the world.
Love Around-
Yeah.
No, 90 Day Fiance would be that one.
90
See?
Day Fiance. That's so wild that you say that. I've just been introduced to the show last week because I had the whole cast was here and they stay with me a lot when they come, and because we're all friends. And Fry was binging 90 Day Fiance the whole week, and I got sucked into that a lot.
My sister watches that one, but there was another one on like Hulu that I think is basically the same thing. And
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. That's the one I watched.
This
But
was the 90
yeah,
Day
it's-
Fiance Happily Ever
my
After.
like sometimes when I'm like getting ready in the morning and I'm like I need something mindless, I put on reality TV.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot more reality TV when I was in the parks more, but now that my brain is less tired, I watch it less.
I do have to ask, what is your favorite ride?
Okay.
And what is your favorite Disney movie?
Okay. My favorite ride is hard, very difficult. Because I have like categories for it, but I'll just give you a smattering. Monsters Unleashed is a current favorite of mine.
Okay.
Mystic Manor in Hong Kong Disneyland. Perhaps my actual true legitimate favorite is the new Frozen ride in Tokyo Disney Sea.
Okay.
Okay.
I also love my longtime favorite is Pirates of the Caribbean. Even though I told you I don't like to ride it that much anymore, but
Yeah.
that's my like nostalgia favorite. Did I say Guardians? That one's just great. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a smattering. My favorite Disney movie, if we're talking core Disney, it's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Always has been.
Interesting.
Ooh,
Why is
wow,
that?
that is
Yeah.
quite the pick.
I know. I don't know. I've always loved that one. I'm like, I like this one because it's got a licentious priest in it. I don't know. I can say that
Yeah.
because they say licentious priest in the movie. And so I like, as a child, I was like, they're really cooking here. Like, I don't know. I really
Yeah,
just,
well, he is like, I think one time we did a podcast with like the worst Disney villain,
Yeah,
and then after we did it, I didn't rank him as number one, and I was like, he's literally doing genocide. Like he is the
genocide.
worst. He's the worst.
Because wild. And the music in that one, and then the visuals in that one are like with the stained glass and stuff. Just I'm always loved. Mulan's my favorite princess movie, and then probably my favorite Disney movie overall is Coco. If we're including Pixar.
Okay.
I've watched it probably 200 times. It's one of my
wow.
top
Okay.
4 movies, period. So that one I just love Coco so much.
Before we get you out of here, I have seen in other interviews you mentioned that you're a big Dungeons and Dragons fan and player.
You can't quite see my Dungeons and Dragons shelf. That's books. That's all D&D books.
Okay.
And my dice
Okay.
are down there.
Nice.
So we have both tried playing a
Okay.
couple times, and it has not really worked out well. So
Okay.
what are your tips for newbies to kind of get involved? Because we like to play. Like, it sounds like
Yes,
fun
sure.
in a concept, but it's just not worked when we've tried it.
Well, my credentials, I'm a veteran at this point. I've been playing for about 7 years with multiple campaigns. I've DM'd for multiple different groups, and the campaign that I play a campaign on Thursdays every single week, and that is the group that I started playing with 7 years ago. So my credentials are pretty
Okay.
strong. My biggest tip to getting into D&D is it's kind of about finding the right people, and that comes in unexpected places. So like sometimes I'll find someone who I'm like, there's no way that guy who does rodeo wants to play D&D. And then suddenly the guy who plays rodeo does really want to play D&D and gets super into it. And he never knew that he doesn't know what it is. But it's like, that guy's great. So I talk about it a lot because I'm always trying to find other people who play.
Okay.
Yeah.
For beginners especially, it is about finding a good DM, a dungeon master who can run it, because that's kind of everything. And the DM, as much as they don't want to, also sets the tone for the whole group and keeps everybody accountable, both from a scheduling perspective, which is well known to be the boon or the bane of every D&D player's existence. But they also keep the tone good and the balance good and making sure no one's dominating and everybody's having a good time. So that's the biggest thing that's important, and it's also the hardest thing to do because it just means like finding somebody. I actually found my original really good group online. So I literally went on, there's a website called Roll20. You can go on a forum looking for game. I went through 2 rounds of interviews which I now know is not normal. But my DM's a lawyer, and he's very... So I went through 2 rounds of interviews, and I got through. And apparently that worked, because it's the same group. We've been playing for 7 years weekly for 4 hours. Like, it's like... I'm not that committed to anything. Like, it's like...
Yeah.
But, yeah, my biggest tip is somebody has to be psychotic about the schedule. Somebody's got to do it. They need to make everybody feel bad if they're not going to show up. They need to send out little meeting polls, or else they will not show. Like, it won't be a priority. It's fun. It's not work. It's not your kids. It's not your family. It's not your pets. It's not your housework. So it's really quick to go off of the priority list. But yeah, it's about right people, which there are a lot of the right people out there. If you just kind of start bringing it up around, like, everybody you're around, you'll like find them. They're everywhere. The people who play D&D, they're all around you. They're sitting next to you very, very now.
I think that was the problem on our one group. Our friends nominated me as Dungeon Master. And again, I've never played before. So we had like a
well, it was like 4 people that are like, yeah, we want to play, but we've never. Yeah,
so we got like a starter book, and I was like, I don't know, like, what I'm doing.
You weren't doing your.
So you're right.
You weren't doing your homework.
It's the Dungeon Master. 100%. I failed that one.
It's also, I would never tell anyone as a beginner to DM. Like, you really do need someone to DM for you the first time.
It's all your fault for dominating me.
Exactly. Like, once you play the first time, then you can DM the easier stuff, like that starter book and like the easier stuff. I DM'd very early, and I wasn't very good, but I could still do it. If I had never played before, I do not think that I would have been able to do it. So you need someone to show you to do it. I'll do it for you guys. I like you guys.
I think that's what we need. We need that.
We could do it on the pod, maybe.
Oh, that would be so fun.
So I was gonna say, here's my follow-up question: when is the AllEars Dungeons and Dragons Worlds Collide video happening?
People have been asking me this for years, and I keep thinking there's no way they really want that. So it's on my.
I think that would be amazing. You did Murder Mystery. It's true. It's kind of like that. The role playing.
It's also
you could get characters.
A lot more mainstream. Like it's like that. People have been asking me about that for 4 years, but it's like with the D&D movie and like
everything.
It was at Universal Hollywood fan nights. Like it's like I think. Even people who aren't interested in playing are starting to understand that it is a thing that exists. Yeah. So it's definitely on my to-do list. I'm nervous to do it because I would want to do a really good job. Yeah. I don't know if I would want to do, like, I'm between wanting to do like just running a campaign like that has like a Disney World theme, kind of like a Kingdom Keepers vibe, just for my cast, and just having it be like a home show where I could actually run a really good D&D game. Or if I want to adapt it and be silly with rolling a D20 in the parks and having people be the adventuring party in the parks. We did a video. I forgot about this one. We did a video called Escape Room. I turned Magic Kingdom into an escape room. And each land, they had to like solve puzzles to get out of the land. And it was fun. And I think functionally D&D would work kind of similarly to that. So I don't know. It's coming one day. It's on my proof concept list.
I was you and I have a lot in common because I buy board games and I try to convince Joe to play them with me, and like I can't find anyone to play these board games with me. So I don't know. Like I grew up, my mom would we'd play cards at night and stuff. So like I love playing games, but.
Yeah, but I think that would be. I think you mentioned the D&D movie. I think there's also like. Just like Disney bounding and kind of like role playing and dressing up in the parks, I feel like is more commonplace now. I think it's like us millennials like kind of grow up. We're like, we kind of want to pretend like we're the characters in this land. So it's like, I feel like just people are more used to that, to be like, oh, we're gonna go in Adventureland and do it themed around something. Like people are just more responsive to that.
Also, one of my most liked Instagram posts was just me at the Renaissance Fair. So,
those are big.
I guess people were into it.
Right.
That's amazing.
So, all right, we'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Well, Quincy, this has been great. Everybody obviously knows AllEars, can check you out on the YouTube channel. Any like upcoming videos you want to kind of like tease?
Really exciting is that I just filmed in Disneyland. I played Pictionary against a Disney animator who worked on Princess and the Frog, Gravity Falls, Hexed, which is upcoming, and he's currently working on Shrek 5. And I played Pictionary against him. So you can all imagine whose drawings looked better. But that's coming to the channel really soon. I haven't even seen a cut yet, but it comes out in a couple of weeks. So that's what I was keeping an eye out for.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, I really look forward to that.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. So, Quincy, again, thank you for being on.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so much
much
for having me.
All right, I want to thank Quincy again. It was really awesome getting to talk to her. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. Be sure to check out allears.net on YouTube. I'm sure everybody is already.
Yeah.
That's like everybody's super familiar with it. I don't have to tell you to go see All Ears. But be sure to check that out. Show Quincy some love on the channel over there. So that wraps up the show for this week. I want to thank everybody again for listening. If you've not done so, please leave us a rating or a review. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. It really helps, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks for lending us your ears.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you here next Monday.
Bye-bye.